Hi, my name is Amy Hooper, and I'm one of the instructional technology TOSAs, and I'm here to walk you through accessibility with extensions. So, our learning targets for today are to locate as well as make some changes to your extensions, learn a few accessibility shortcuts for both Chromebooks and MacBooks, understand the use of Moat, be able to use Immersive Reader with students, create QR codes and use QR Linker, use closed captions on Google Slides, and record with Screencastify. And then we're also going to introduce you to a few other helpful and maybe just fun extensions that you may want to add to your extension collection. So first off, we need to find where our extensions basically live. And those are located in a little puzzle piece that's up on your browser next to where your Google profile image is. So we'll take a look at that in just a second. So we're going to locate where that is, and then we are going to open up the extension menu and look at both pinning and unpinning an extension, how to add an extension, and then how to remove an extension that maybe you no longer want or are no longer using. So let's take a look at where our extension is. So as I said, it's in the upper right-hand corner by your profile image. So it's a little puzzle piece here. Now, all these extensions that are to the left of the puzzle piece are ones that I've pinned that I most likely, such as Screencastify, which I'm using right now to create this video, ones that I'm going to be using on a more frequent basis. Now, if I click on my extension puzzle piece, that's going to open up, and so I can view all the extensions that I have loaded through the Chrome App Store. And I'll show you just in a minute how to access that. But here is where we're going to be able to do things such as pin and unpin extensions. So I'm going to use Grammarly down here. Actually, no, I'm going to use Edpuzzle, I think, since that is how you are taking this course. So, for example, if I wanted to pin Edpuzzle to my list of frequently used extensions up here, I'm going to go in and I'm going to hit this little pin icon, which says pin, and I'm going to turn it blue. Now I see Edpuzzle is up here. Its little icon is up here in my list of frequently used pins. Now, for example, if I wanted to unpin and remove Edpuzzle from one of my frequently used, I'm just going to simply go back to the pin, click on it, and it's no longer filled in blue. Another way you can also do it is to go to the more actions. So the three little dots here. I'm going to click on that, and I can pin again Edpuzzle, or I can unpin it. I can go back to more actions, and I can remove, if I wanted to, I could remove Edpuzzle from my list of approved extensions for my Chrome browser. Now, if I wanted to add a new extension, I'm going to open up a new tab. I'm going to go over here to my apps, my colorful rainbow waffle here. That usually sits right to the left of your MSD bookmarks. So I'm going to click on that waffle, and it's going to open up this. What you want to do is go to the web store. And when you open up the web store, you can search for extensions. Now, it automatically, since I'm on my district computer, it's going to automatically highlight for me here in blue apps that have been, or extensions and apps that have been approved for Marysville School District usage. If you want to, you can search through all kinds of different extensions, ones that are just not approved for the district. You can also go by themes if you wanted to, or basically load themes for new backgrounds to your computer. But really, all you need to worry about for this is accessing extensions or extensions that are already been approved for the Marysville School District domain. All right, so coming back to my presentation, I'll just take a little time to load. So hopefully You can use these questions to make sure you're able to locate your own extension puzzle piece and perform the pin and unpin functions that we just went over. So in this PowerPoint, I'm going to also give you guys access. I will put it in a note for the Edpuzzle, but there is a um, shortcut for Chromebook accessibility that is good to be familiar with when you're working with students. So the first thing is to know how to find your accessibility features on the Chromebook. At the bottom right of the computer of the Chromebook, you will find a little settings wheel. After you click on the time that's presented there, you can also press Alt plus the Shift key plus the S key to access the settings. And then you want to go, once you are in settings, you want to go to the bottom and select Advanced. And then in the accessibility section under Advanced, you should be able to select and manage different accessibility features on the Chromebook. In this presentation, I have also created a link that goes to Google support, and this gives you a little bit more information regarding what features you can turn on under accessibility, such as giving students the ability to do text to speech, the type of display. So, turning on a higher contrast mode or even having a screen magnifier to make things larger in size, or to change a screen resolution or even the text size. Keyboard accessibility will help you turn on sticky keys or have an on screen keyboard versus just the keyboard on the Chromebook itself. It also does things such as control the focus highlighting of the keyboard repeat rate, as well as word prediction. And you can also click on here to learn how to type with gesture voice, so how to speak into the computer and have it type for you. The mouse and the touchpad also has some accessibility changes that you can make. Audio with either playing sounds together through all the speakers, or you can choose to just go through one specific speaker with the sound. So you can use this link to explore more accessibility features on the Chromebook. So as I was showing you, this second slide just basically shows those different accessibility shortcuts that you can use. Again, please feel free to click on the link in the notes section of Edpuzzle in order to access the Chromebook accessibility shortcuts from Google support. When we look at using shortcuts and accessibility with G Workspace Suite on MacBooks, there's some different things that you can do, such as turn on closed captions for slides, which I'll talk more about in this presentation. You can also, similar to the Chromebook, you can do voice typing where you can speak into the computer and it will type for you. There are some visual aids that are available that will help with the contrast themes in Gmail and browsing, as well as giving you access to a more powerful keyboard for shortcuts, especially for those who may or do not use a mouse. Um, G Suite also offers a lot of different collaboration that you can use on different platforms, not just Google, but also with Windows and other devices such as Android, or iOS devices. Mac also gives a Braille display that you can use for reading and editing with Docs, Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Drawings. And this link here for accessibility settings will also allow you to find some magnifier and help with screen readers for Google Docs as well. I will also put the link to this support in the Edpuzzle in the notes section. In order to access your accessibility options on a Mac, you're going to want to find the settings icon on your dock. Sometimes it's down in the lower bottom part of your computer, such as mine is, or you might have it set along either the right or left hand side of your screen. Once you go to the settings, system preferences here, you're going to want to find accessibility down in the bottom, the last row, and click on accessibility. This will be the screen that pops up and will give you access to different things such as speech, display, zooming, captions, and voiceover. So again, that accessibility screen, once you get to the accessibility icon under system preferences, will look like this. So take a moment to pause and reflect and think about what accessibility shortcut stands out to you the most. And feel free to go back and review the previous section if you need a reminder on what we covered. One of the Tech Tip Tuesday tips that we sent out was about Moat as an extension that can be added to your Chromebook browser. It lets you add voice comments and any audio content that you want to kind of integrate into any kind of shared documents, assignments, emails, and or forms. It can be used in Google Docs, Slides, Sheets, Forms, Classroom, and Gmail. You can create voice notes for any website or application. So a good thing to keep in mind with extensions, and extensions are something that can be applied to any website. So once you download or add the extension to your Chromebook browser, that extension can be used on any website that you go to. These notes or voice notes can also be created and shared in the format of a QR code. And Moat also supports transcription in actually more than 20 different world languages, some including English, of course, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Arabic. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Moat extension here. So that link is going to take you, and I will put it in the notes section again of Edpuzzle. Is going to take you to the Chrome store. It says remove from Chrome over here because I've already added Moat to my extensions. But let's take a look at how it might be used in a Google Slides presentation. So I am going to exit out of my presentation mode. Moat is located up here with my other record extension that I'll cover later. But Moat, you're going to go ahead and click on to open up in your Google Slides, and you can start to record your Moat. I'm going to click on the M here to start, and all I have to do is simply do a voice recording. So right now, this extension is recording my voice. Apparently, I sound great. And you can also move this window around if you need to, especially if you're covering maybe some of the information that is in the current slide that you're on. So I'm going to go ahead and check that this is good as I'm running out of time. You can also X out or pause the recording as well. So now it's going to take a moment to kind of think. You can play back your recording here to see how it sounds. To do is simply do a voice recording. So right now, this extension, you can pause the listening back of your recording and play it again. You can also delete. And once it gets to the end, you can go back and have it start from the beginning. Once you are happy with your recording, you can go ahead and hit insert. It's going to take a few moments to generate the recording, but then it's going to place it into your Google slide, into this specific slide. So it's in the process of creating the audio right now. All right. So we can go ahead and either cancel out of this or even replace the recording if we wanted to. I'm going to X out of this, or I'm going to cancel, and we're going to keep, we could change the way this image looks. So right here is my audio Moat recording. I can play it down here, the whole 29 seconds. I can control the volume of it. I can also control the playback speed. And as far as my Google slide goes, I can choose whether once I come to this slide that the voice recording plays automatically, or if this person who is in my Google slide presentation has to click on it in order for it to play. Down here, I can choose for it to continue to loop the audio around, and you can do some other changes to it, such as size and rotation, the position of where it is located, and some various other ones. But I think the ones you would probably most likely use is whether or not the recording is played on clicking on the play button, or if it automatically plays once you get to the slide. And then lastly, whether it loops back and continues to play the audio over and over again, or if it stops once you continue to the next slide. All right, so speaking of, I'm going to go ahead and delete that recording so it's no longer there. So I no longer have the options to do any formatting with it. And we're going to continue on to the next extension. All right, this is another Tuesday tech tip that we sent out. This is a great extension for ELL or ESL. This is also a great extension. I've heard other teachers who have been using it for students just to hear themselves how they write. So if they've written an essay, you can create the Google document and publish it as a website. That way you could use Immersive Reader on the Google document. And it can translate the text for you as well. So again, you would click here or the link in the notes in Edpuzzle in order to access the extension. I'm going to go ahead and find a document and show you how maybe you would use this with a Google document with your students in class. So I'm going to open up this document that I believe I used for an upcoming Tuesday Tech tip on Google search chips. And being able to publish something to the web is something you can do with any application. So Google Docs, Slides, Google Sheets, and really it just gives you the ability to have an application turned into a website. So once it is a website, then you can use these different extensions on it. I'm just going to title this training example. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into File. I'm going to go to Publish to the Web. I'm going to hit Publish. Yes, I do. Okay. And I'm going to grab my Publish link. I'm going to go to a new tab. I'm going to paste in the published link of that document. And then what I'm going to do is my immersive reader is up here. But let's just pretend this document is actually an essay that a student has written. I'm going to highlight one of the, we'll say for this purpose, paragraphs. I'm going to highlight it, and then I'm going to two-finger right-click on my mouse pad, and I'm going to go down to where it says, Help me read this. This is the extension of Immersive Reader. So now that Immersive Reader sees that my document is in a website published format, it's going to allow me to use it, and I can come down here and I can play
November 10th, 2021, meeting attendees.
Some of the other things that Immersive Reader will give you the ability to do is to control the text preference. So I can control the size of the text font up here. I can increase or decrease the spacing. I can also change. I have a few options. Of course, Comic Sans is one that is really good for students that are dyslexic. You can change the theme, some of the colors. If there's green is another one that's really good to help students with reading. And there's more colors available as well. Let's take a look at some of the grammar options before we get into translating. If I wanted to, for maybe even younger readers, I can turn on the syllables so that's for sounding out a little bit more. I can also play around with the parts of speech, so I can put any nouns in purple, verbs go in red, adjectives and adverbs, etc. If I wanted to, I could just easily turn on all labels at once. And so they'll also give me just above the word the label, depending on what parts of speech I've turned on. Or you can just go by color code. And then the big part about Immersive Reader is you can choose to have it translated into another language. There's also a line focus, so you can choose as it reads how many lines it focuses on at a time. For this demonstration, we'll go ahead and choose a language. Let's go with, we'll go with French for this one. And you can either do it by word or by document. We're going to go by document. So then up here, if I X out of this little side menu, you'll notice that I can either go through English, which is the original format, or I can have it translated into French. And I can
Novembre 2010, 2021 participants à la réunion, soutien pédagogique ami ou P fichier.
For Picture Dictionary, you can simply click on the words, and some of the words it will show you with a picture. There we go, files. It now shows me a picture of what files maybe look like. Perhaps notes, yep. Notes, it also gives me a picture, and you can choose to have it spoken, the word note spoken in either French or in English. Lastly, down here you have some voice settings. You can control the speed in which the words are spoken and whether it is in a female or male voice. Reader now and creating a QR from the browser. I really like the extension QR Linker, which you'll see the link to that in the Edpuzzle notes. This QR Linker extension allows you to read a QR code and it will automatically take you straight to the website that the QR code has been formatted for. And so you don't have to click on another button to take you there. It's actually really good at reading QR codes as well. And so it's something that's, if you're using a Chromebook or another type of device other than a cell phone, it has an easier time of picking up that QR code, especially if you're trying to you read a QR code not using like Clever or another QR reader that's already been loaded onto the student Chromebook. So I'm going to take a moment here and take a look at the recording for a QR code creator for the Chrome browser that I created for one of the Tuesday Tech Tips. I'm going to show you just a quick way to find the QR creator that is located now in your browser that Google came out with. This is for Chrome browsers. You may need to update your Chrome. It should show you a little red up here that says update. You can also find it under here under the Chrome tab. And so just check to make sure that you don't need to update your Chrome before trying to find the QR creator. So here I am on a web page. This is the one that you would use in order to go find QR linker, the extension, and add it to your extensions. The URL address is right up here in my browser. My QR reader is not, or creator rather, is not here. I do have the star to bookmark this. I'm simply going to click, and it may highlight the address. That's okay, and create a little blue around outlining the web browser area. Right here, you'll see the create a QR code for this page icon that should pop up once you, as long as you're in Chrome, and again, have updated to the most recent version of it. So I'm simply gonna click on the QR creator, and that's gonna pop up my QR code. It also allows me to copy the link to that QR code, or I can simply click here on to download it. And really the reason behind maybe using QR codes is that if you're not using kind of Go Guardian, for example, and pushing out websites to students' Chromebooks, you could simply print out different QR codes, put them on the desk for them, and they could easily scan those using a Chromebook or a phone to get to a particular site that you want them to go to. As of right now, we are working on trying to get the QR linker pushed out to Chromebooks and to all staff, as well, as it seems to be the easiest extension we've found in order to read the QRs and the QR codes and take you directly on either a MacBook or on a Chromebook directly to the website. So that is just a short little display on how to use the QR code creator right through your Chrome browser. All right, we are going to move ahead to the Screencastify extension, which you see me using here. This is the #1 screen recorder, and I think it should be pushed out to all Macs. If not, I will include the link to add it to yours. But it's the #1 screen recorder for Chrome. It helps you to capture. You can also edit and share videos. So all the videos that you see, or some of the videos actually that you see here in Ed Puzzle that we've done for this self-paced training, have been recorded and then edited in Screencastify. And so we'll go ahead and play this short video on how to use it.
So if you're working on recording your screen or you're looking for a solution for that, regardless of what type of computer you're on, Mac, PC, Chromebook, Screencastify is a really easy to use option. So you're going to go to screencastify.com and then click on this Add to Chrome button. It is a Chrome extension, so it does require that you're in Chrome. From there, it's going to add up a new tab where you can go and click on Add to Chrome again. From there, it's going to ask if you want to add the extension to your browser, and you're going to hit Add Extension. Once it's there, it's going to go through and it's going to check to make sure it's installed. And now it's on the top right-hand side. If you have other extensions installed, they'll also show up there, but just the one that you want to do. Once you're ready to go there, you're going to click on it. It will pop up and it'll be able to go through and have everything sign in. So we're going to go through with Google here. I want to make sure that you save things to Google Drive, and then you need to sign in with Google. When you click on that, you're going to get a new tab, and then you'll get another tab here in just a second once we decide what we want to do. We're first going to allow us to go through and add camera and microphone access along with drawing tools. We'll hit next, and then we have to set our permissions. If you've already signed in with us before, or if you only have one account, you only have to hit sign in. If you have multiple accounts that you're signed into with Chrome, you'll have to decide which one you want to do that with. So I'm going to hit allow to go through, and now I've installed it. And you'll see up in the browser also say installed. At this point, I'm ready to go. I can go up here to my options, and now I have a whole new area that I can do. You can see the microphones going, so I can select which microphone I want to use. I happen to have a number of microphones connected to my computer. I can also enable a webcam if I'd like. I'm going to leave that off for right now. I can record just a particular browser tab, the entire desktop, or only the webcam. I can also view my recordings, see any notifications, and manage a couple settings. And down here, I can also click on that. I have a couple of additional settings if I'd like. So for this one, I'm going to record the internal microphone in my computer, which is set up, and then I can hit record, and I'm going to record my desktop. It's going to give you a little pop-up if you want to do the entire screen or a particular application. I'm going to choose the entire screen and then hit share. Now it's going to do a little countdown because that's what I hit. It's doing the countdown, and now I'm recording live into this. If you look at the bottom left-hand side, I have a pause button, a mouse. I can write directly on it, so I can either highlight clicks, not highlight clicks, or focus on certain things. So if, hey, I really want to make sure you notice that, I can do it there. With this, I can also draw directly on the screen, and then I can also erase that if I need to. I can also exit out of that entirely if I want to, and whenever I'm done my recording, I'll hit stop sharing. At this point, it's going to go through and it's going to process and it's going to load up a new tab for me. So it's showing me exactly what I have around here. So I have the professional version, which I will, or should I say the premium version, which I'll put a coupon code in that you can get it for free until April 30th because of what's been going on in the world. But you can notice here, they can share it directly to your Google Classroom, publish it right out to the web, get an embed code. There's a couple more options here like emails or QR codes. You can also download it, export it as an MP4, export only the audio, or make a GIF. So there's a lot of options right in there right away, which is really, really good, really, really powerful. You can also make a shareable link from your Google Drive. If I go back here and click on this and go to my recordings, it's going to take my recordings and I can see exactly what I've done. And if I go into my drive, when I scroll through here, you'll see that there's a Screencastify menu. And when I go in there, I can see my recordings. You'll notice that it's a WebM. So if your software or your learning management system does not support that, you want to go back and make sure you download the MP4 and it'll work just fine. But that's really a quick, easy way to go through and do this. You see, they don't take up a whole lot of space and it's a really high quality recording they can use with your students. Hopefully that.
All right, we will continue moving on. So I'm going to take a moment to pause and reflect on which are the previous extensions do you think you'll use it with instruction, either remotely or in person with students, and why? So basically, you can choose from Moat, Immersive Reader. We also spent some time on the QR code linker, as well as the creator through Chrome browser, and on the Screencastify as well. All right, some other Google or Chrome extensions that I find to be helpful. I think some of these should actually be already pushed out to most staff Chrome MacBooks. Sorry. Google Translate, of course, helps you to translate any document. You can choose what language to translate it into, or if it's in another language, you could choose to translate it to English. Cami, I think a lot of us have used, especially with what's been going on in the world as of last couple of years. Cami, you can use to annotate PDFs and a lot more actually. We also have a resize tab for Google Chrome. This can actually split your screen. Let me see if I can find that one. No, that's not it. I think it's this one. Yes. So you can actually click on this one and choose how you want it to split your screen. So if you are somebody who's maybe importing grades, for example, into Skyward from another site, you might have your two web pages or two browsers open up side by side, so you can easily do that. So that's just a good extension if you need to have multiple windows open, but be able to view them, especially if you only are operating with one screen. Translate anywhere. You can translate sentences that you select on a web page to various languages. So it's similar to Google Translate. It's just sometimes it's nice to have multiple different options when you are trying to translate languages. Print friendly and PDF is another one I really like. If you're someone who likes to print off articles, maybe from a web page, but you don't necessarily want to have all the pictures or other maybe verbiage from a website, you can use the print friendly and PDF extension to remove those pictures. So let's just go to maybe, I think I can get into the Ever Herald. Let's see if we can maybe find an article, for example, here. Open up the print friendly and PDF. extension right now. And this is going to open up the article and hopefully do away with some of those ads that we saw. So basically, but it is giving me this one right here. So for example, if I wanted to delete anything on this page that is not necessary, I can go ahead and take my trash can and get rid of any of the images that maybe do not add to the article in which I want students to read about. So if there's any ads, if there's just maybe other things that they just don't need to see, you want just the text, you can go ahead and delete some of the additional information or any ads or pictures that you don't want, such as this advertisement here. We don't need that. We're going to go ahead and delete this part too, and just leave the actual verbiage from the article. So again, you can go ahead and print right from here. You could email this article out, or you could also format it in a PDF. You can control some of the text sizing, picture sizing, and you can undo if you were to delete something that you didn't mean to. So that's another one of my favorite extensions. All right, the last one on this particular slide. We're almost to the end, but the last one I have on this one is the record to screen. It should be found up in the upper part of your Google Slides, near the same place as the Moat extension. So I can see that my slides are just loading. All right, perfect. So we have Moat here, and then to the left we have the blue video camera. I'm going to go ahead and open that up so I can now record a video, this video in my Google Slides, and then I will be able to hit the red, which will pop up the video over here to the right. I can play it back if I want. I can choose who has access to it, anyone in my domain, so Marysville School District, or anyone in public, especially if this slide presentation would be published to the web, or if it is something that is private, so someone with just the link would have access to. Once I'm done, I'm going to hit OK. And what it should do is go ahead and drop a video. Let's go back here, and you can actually move this video. So you could be talking, explaining what's on this slide to your students, and they can go ahead when they get to that slide, they can press play. It can also open it in Drive as well. And we have just a couple more extensions that I like to use. Full screen interactive Google Slides is a great one to use. I've shown this with my slide training as well. What you do with your full screen interactive Google Slides is when you're actually presenting in present mode, either maybe to a class or online even, you can still have the ability while in present mode of your Google Slides to be able to edit the Google slide presentation that you're on. So I'm going to go ahead into my extensions, and I am going to find that particular extension, which is right here, the full screen interactive. It's also pinned. So we're going to click on it. It's going to open my screen back up to present mode. So if you were viewing this, if I was presenting to someone, then they would be seeing it in present mode. But what I can also do is I can also still edit my slides while I am in presentation mode. And the last one, so this is just kind of a fun extension, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. But my last one is the Confetti Canyon. We can go ahead and, I don't have this one pinned, but I'm going to go ahead and find it. If I hit that, it just brings up a fun little confetti image to the computer or animation. So that's another fun one. And that brings us basically to the end of accessibility with extensions. So just some things that might be added in order to make either things more accessible to students, things a little bit more fun and engaging. But from the last kind of quick list of extensions that we went through, which one was your favorite and why? And this brings us to the last question. So please feel free to answer this question before it will move you forward in the self-training video here. And the last part will be to complete the attendance as well as the evaluation form for this self-paced training. And those links will come up in another notes section for the Edpuzzle video.